recording. We'll do the thumbnail first. Alright. That's a decent enough thumbnail. If anything, I will just not use it. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Welcome back. Let's start over. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Spooky's Haven. My name is Shay. My friends call me Spooky, and this is where we talk about movies and horror and all that fun, good stuff. I'm a little sick. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just like starting. You know when you like can feel it coming in your throat. Yeah, it's starting. So it's gonna be a really low key video, or I'm gonna try to make it a low key video. I have a lot to say. This is my video where I talk about what I watched this past month, which was be the month of June. I didn't actually watch as many movies as I thought I was going to watch. It's just decreasing every month, and a lot of that is because at the time I was watching them during work, but it's gotten busier since it's summertime at my job, so I'm not able to watch the movies during work. So I either have to watch them after work or watch them on the weekend, and I do usually, but that's like really the only times I'm able to do that. But yeah, at the end of this video, I'm just gonna talk about like a few announcement things, and kind of just like let you know because there's gonna be some stuff there's gonna be some stuff hitting the channel soon, hopefully. Okay, this is awkward. I'm not normally this weird. I mean, I guess I am normally this weird, but I just don't I don't feel the best. But we're gonna power through because I need to let you guys know what I watched in June. Now, this whole series is not about watching brand new movies that just came out in theaters because let's be honest, there's not a ton of horror movies that come out in theaters, and I know we have streaming, I know we have access to other things, but it also gives me license to watch movies I have not seen ever. So not even just movies from this year or last year, but like in general. Like my first movie, I'm already going to tell you, my first movie of July. What are you doing? Why do you decide now is the time to play? Ow, my finger. I can't, Shuri. You didn't even bring anything over here. The very first movie that I'm going to be watching for July, probably sometime this week, will be Hellraiser. I've never seen Hellraiser. I know. Just you can string me up. You can string me up. I've never seen the movies before. I've never seen any of them. But they did just announce that there's a Hellraiser haunted house coming to Universal Studios, and I'm kind of hype about that because it's something new for me. I've never experienced. So, um, yeah, I will be watching probably at least the first two because I know they're both on Tubi. If I can find the third one, I will watch that because apparently the house is also based on the third one. Yeah, so we'll see. All right, so let's get this party started. I watched a total of, let me count real quick. I watched a total of 9 movies in June. 9 movies. And to be fair, one of them was one I've already seen, but I didn't remember and I wanted to revisit it just to kind of see what was going on. So I only watched 9 movies in June. There was not enough. All right. So here we go. The first movie I watched in June was Backrooms. Obviously, I think I had mentioned in my video about the movies I was going to watch that I probably wasn't going to see Backrooms until June. I know it came out in May, but I got to the party a little bit late. Um, I thought it was good. Here's my honest opinion on it, and I might get into this deeper in another time. But my honest opinion is like, why are you up here? Stop. Here. Go get it. And stop being a heathen. Like, I could have this done in like 2 seconds. I'm actually like okay with recording without makeup on, so It's not like they haven't seen my face without makeup on before. Posted a few videos and edits with me with no makeup. Um, yeah, my honest opinion about the Backrooms is I didn't really know what to expect going in, but it wasn't that necessarily. It wasn't bad. Um, I don't think it was as good as a lot of people are making it seem, but it's definitely a great first feature film from Kane Parsons. I think that it shows a lot of promise and a lot of potential for the future. It's a good film. It's a good film. It's very interesting. It's very weird. It's very trippy. It's very A24 too, by the way. Um, I like it. I was a big fan of the series on YouTube, so it was kind of cool to get to experience that. So I gave it 4 stars. I did think it was worth the wait. I had been waiting for this movie from the moment they announced it. And like I said, very promising start for Kane Parsons, and I really hope that that means he'll get more opportunities going forward. Okay, so then the next movie that I watched, and I'm gonna try to do this in the future. I want to go through and try to see if I can find a hidden gem on Tubi as far as horror movies go. And I'm not talking about a hidden gem like a movie that maybe is like popular or not popular, but it was like from the 80s or whatever. I'm talking about a movie made by Tubi, because we all know Tubi movies, Tubi movies, they are wild. So I did pick one to watch, and I was gonna do more of them. I was gonna watch more of them, and then I got sidetracked. I completely got sidetracked. So the movie I watched was called Hive, and this was interesting. I will say this: the concept is of this movie is really cool. Now, if you've never heard of this movie, which likely you haven't because it's made by Tubi, um, the concept of this movie is that this young woman who's getting ready to start college takes a nannying job in a small town where weird stuff and people tend to disappear. And without spoiling it too much, I mean, it's in the beginning you realize that you see it, so it's not really too much of a spoiler. But the kids are basically like killers. Like they're basically killers. It's kind of like Children of the Corn meets like um what was that movie? Oh my god, Children of the Corn meets is it Species? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look it up. But like it's a sci-fi movie mixed with this horror element, and it has a political message because all of the people that are getting disappeared in this town are all Hispanic, and they are all like service workers. You see where I'm going with this. I thought it was a great metaphor for what's been going on in our country for the last almost 2 years now. I thought it was a great metaphor, but the movie was bad. Like, I mean, it was a Tubi movie. It was bad. The acting was bad. The writing was bad. Also, I've never complained about this before in a movie, but it was so fast paced. Like quite like I mean not just because the opening was like a opening kill. I'm used to movies with opening kills. That doesn't bother me. But it was like we had the opening kill, we had one little establishing scene of our main character, and then the next scene we meet the essentially the villains, and then boom, from that point on you don't breathe for the rest of the movie. It's just nonstop chaos, kids being weird like gross things happening on people's bodies. Like it did not stop. And every time I was like, are we going to get a moment to breathe? No, we did not get a moment to breathe. So I think that's really a bad thing because, like, as much as I hate a slowly paced film, or a film that, like, starts and stops, like awkwardly paced film, I hate a film that just throws you into the deep end. It's like, hey, here's this concept, yeet, just throws you right into the deep end. So I hate a film like that. But yeah, it was a good concept, and I think I would love to see what it could have been with a bigger budget and better writing. I would love to have seen what it could have been. I think it could have been really cool because I for one, I do like, I'm obviously of the, not even the opinion, it is fact that horror is always a commentary for society, and horror is always political. Whether you like it or not, it's always political. And this movie was definitely very political. But it was pretty subtle with it in the beginning, and then it got more like obvious as the film went on. But this is definitely one that I think if it was done the right way, it would be a cool creature feature. It'd be a cool gross out body horror flick, and it would also have something to say. But unfortunately, I can only give it 2.5 stars because it's Tubi and it sucked. So, hey, come here. I really need you to not. Okay, it's not gonna take me that long to do this one. It's gonna take me longer if you act like this. I'm not gonna stop. Ooh, all right. This next one. This isn't the one that I'm going to crash out. There is going to be a crash out on this list, just so you guys know. There is going to be a crash out. I'm going to try not to crash out too much, but there is going to be a full blown crash out. But this is not the one I'm going to crash out to. This is the start of the crash out. Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. Okay. I am currently playing through the Resident Evil series. I've become a bigger fan over the years of Resident Evil. I've loved the games that they've remastered. I've loved the games that they've released. Biohazard and Village were really well done. Obviously, I freaking love Requiem. That is what I'm working on right now, but we'll get to that later. I love Resident Evil. I don't like the original movie series. Now, I have seen 3 of the original movies from the original movie series. I don't like it. Um, I don't know why we needed to add Alice. I don't know why. Like, she's like irrelevant. She's not even in the games. Like, who the heck is she and why? It's like they did with Mortal Kombat, the 2021 version. They're like, hey, let's create a character for this movie that no one cares about. But people like Alice. People like her. I'm just shocked that she's never been added into the games because people like her. But she is just like, it. Just, I don't know. They sidelined all of the characters that you cared about in the game for this character that wasn't in the game. So that kind of always pissed me off, and I just never went beyond. I'm pretty sure I stopped at 2 actually. Never went beyond that. Yeah, I think Leon was in Resident Evil 2, the second movie, and like he was in it for like 5 seconds, and I was pissed. I was like, what? Like, what is this happening? Um, So I was excited when I first heard about this movie, Welcome to Raccoon City, because they were like, oh, it's going to stay true to the game. It's going to be like a really cool thing. And I honestly didn't have a problem with a brown Leon. They had Avon Jogia. He was playing Leon Kennedy. I thought that was nice casting. I know people could be like, that's a woke casting, but hey, it was fine. It was fine. It could have worked if this was a better movie. It could have worked. It could have worked. Um, I never thought in my entire life I would ever say this about a Resident Evil thing. This was the most boring thing I have ever watched. Like, forget the fact that the story was just butchered. I mean, completely butchered. This was boring. I mean, like, not on the level of I Know What You Did Last Summer boring, but like it was almost disappointing because you're like, this is a game that's incredibly action packed. There's a lot going on. Even when you're stealthing, there's a lot going on. And nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Like, at all. Also, there was too much Chief Irons for my taste. If anyone knows the lore of Resident Evil, you know what Chief Irons is all about. I don't understand why there was so much Chief Irons. And then my problems with Leon, right? So I don't have a problem with who they got to play Leon. I don't have a problem at all. I think that was fine. They made Leon a slacker. And if anybody's ever played Resident Evil that's watching this, you know Leon Kennedy. Leon S. Kennedy is not a slacker. You know he's not an alcoholic until at least Resident Evil 6. He's not a slacker. And you know, when he arrived to Raccoon City, he was like ready to go. He was like, let's go. I'm going to help y'all. They made his character useless. Useless. And I'm like, why do y'all keep doing this to Leon in the films? Why do y'all keep doing this to Leon? I don't know. Are you guys jealous of him? Like, no, I was so upset. I was so upset with that. I didn't like who they got to play Chris Redfield. I can't remember his name right now. I'll put it on the screen. But I didn't like who they got to play Chris Redfield. I thought he was bleh. I liked who they got to play Jill, and I liked who they got to play Claire. My problem with Claire is that they made her a bitch. And if you've ever played Resident Evil, Claire is not a cold-hearted bitch. They made her a bitch. I couldn't stand her character in this movie, and I love, like, one of the things I love about Resident Evil is the fact that there are a lot of strong female characters. The characters do rise to the occasion, except for Mia Winters, but that's a rant for another day. I'm not going to get into Mia right now because she triggers me. Um, but yeah, no, like I love the female characters, Jill Valentine, Claire Redfield. You have Ashley from the fourth game. In the remaster, they made her actually like somewhat useful, and she wasn't as annoying as in the original game. Ada Wong, even though I got beef with Ada, but I do like Ada as a character. I do like playing with her. And now we have Grace Ashcroft. Like, they do be pulling these girls out and making them, like, bad bitches, but they're not all like just cruel people or nasty people. And that's kind of how Claire came off in this movie. It was just like snarky, nasty, just like, and maybe that's because I've never played Code Veronica. Maybe she's like that in Code Veronica, but I just know when I played Resident Evil 2, she was not like that. She was not like that in Resi 2. I was like, she was nice. She was tough, but she was nice. What the heck are you talking about? Um all in all, this movie was, at first this was going to be my big crash out for the month of June, and then it got worse, and something worse came along. So I gave this one 2 stars. Never gonna watch it again. There's no reason for me to do it. I'll play the games. I got the games. I'll play the games because those are better movies than any movie that anybody's made. We'll see what Zach Kreger does with Resident Evil. I'm interested in seeing. This next one, kind of special, kind of random. I was thinking of potentially doing this one before, and then I was like, nah, I'm not going to watch this one. And then I just decided, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to watch it. So I watched Milk and Cereal. And this is Curry Barker's first feature length film. Now, if you don't know who Curry Barker is, he is the director of Obsession, the movie that everybody is currently foaming at the mouth for. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. This is his first horror movie. It's done in a found footage style, and actually, the funny part is, if you've seen Obsession, you know that Curry Barker is the lead in the movie, but you know that the guy that plays Ian, who is like his best friend and his right hand man in real life, he is in that movie as well. And this movie was so good in a weird way. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I hate it because I feel like I'm glazing this man too much, but I don't know how to describe it. It was like, because it was like 2 movies in one. It was like about a prank channel where they did a prank on Curry Barker's character, and then it switches from like his name was Seven. Yeah, Seven. It switches from Seven's point of view to Milk's point of view. And the switch in the way the story went was so like intense. And Curry Barker is a really good actor. I've never watched him in anything, but he made me so uncomfortable. And when I watched it, I was like, I now understand why he nailed directing those really uncomfortable moments in Obsession, because in that movie, in Milk and Cereal, there are just moments where he's just like talking to the camera, and there's just a look in his eyes that just doesn't seem human. And I'm like, this is uncomfortable. Like, I've seen interviews with this dude. He seems chill. I've seen his comedy skits now. He seems chill, but he's a good actor because he had me uncomfortable. Now, was it the scariest movie in the world? No. But it was really cool, and it made me realize why Obsession was as good as it was. I am going to watch The Chair, but I don't know if I'm going to count that as one of my movies that I've watched, because I've heard The Chair is amazing. I am going to watch The Chair at some point. But yeah, Milk and Cereal, I thought it was pretty good. I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was fun. I'll definitely watch it again. It's on YouTube. It's free. I can watch it whenever I want. So, yeah. Curry Barker's definitely impressing me, and he might actually make me a Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan if he knocks that out of the park. So, yeah. The next movie that I watched, which was actually on the same day, I love when I do double features, was one that I was really excited to watch, and then I watched it, and I was like, eh, was Keeper, which was Osgood Perkins, another Osgood Perkins movie. If you know Osgood Perkins, he did Long Legs, he did The Black Coat's Daughter, he did The Monkey. Um, I was really excited about this movie because it looked really, really eerie. It was. Um, in a way, it was like you weren't really sure what was at play here. But it felt like a lot of nothing happened in the movie. It felt like a lot of nothing happened. This honestly, the scariest part was Tatiana Maslany eating cake aggressively. That was the scariest part to me. I was like, "Oh, girl, can you not eat cake like that?" That was very, very creepy. I did love the ending. Absolutely love the ending. It is a kind of a good for her movie. When you watch it, you'll understand. Um, it made me not like it made me not like guys for a minute. I was like, wow, these guys are jerks. And when you know what they did, it's oh god. Um, but yeah, it was okay. It wasn't the worst film in the world. It probably I would say it's probably his worst film, Oscar Perkins' worst film, but that's saying a lot because Longlegs is really good. It's really weird, but it's really good, and I like it. I don't know. So Keeper, everything has to go up to Longlegs for me. So yeah, I gave that one 3 stars. Probably not going to watch it again if I'm honest, but 3 stars. Oh, oh my god. Okay, so this one was a sleeper. This one came out of nowhere. So a friend of mine suggested I should watch this one. She said it was really good. I'd never heard of it before. And it happened to be on Hulu. The Home. I was not expecting this movie to be as good as it is. It is a very run of the mill, like, horror movie, but it is so freaking good. The gore effects are amazing. I actually had to look away at the ending. If you know, you know. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but I had to look away at the end because the gore was a little bit too much for me. A little bit too much for me. Um Pete Davidson was actually really good in this movie. And I'm not one of those people, like, I know there's like, you either love Pete Davidson or you hate Pete Davidson. I wouldn't say I'm on either camp side. Like, I think he's got his decent moments, and then he's got his moments where he's insufferable. And I think that's the way with any person who does comedy. They've got moments where you really like them and moments where they're insufferable. But even though he was playing a character that seemed very similar to himself, it's still like it wasn't as grating, I guess you could say. Like, he was playing himself, but he wasn't playing himself. Um, he handled the serious moments very well. He had this kind of lovable charm because if you haven't heard of what The Home is, without spoiling it, it's about a young man, Pete Davidson's character, who gets arrested for graffiti and gets put on probation. Basically, he has a choice between prison or probation, doing volunteer work at an what you call it, at a care home, like, a nursing home. That's what it's called. um he chooses a nursing home because he obviously doesn't want to go to prison, and so he starts working at a nursing home with all these old people, and these old people are pretty freaking weird. I've watched a lot of movies in the last couple years of old people being weird, so yeah. But this movie, I mean, they are very weird. Very, very weird. And it's a weird scenario for him, and he's trying to adapt. All sorts of weird stuff is happening, and then you find out what's really going on in the end, which, to be quite honest, I did not see it coming. I did not see it coming at all. I was like, oh, that was good. Um and then the ending is just carnage. It's just carnage, and it's so much fun. It was a fun movie. I enjoyed it. I found myself laughing. I found myself, like, gasping at things. I was shocked. I was shocked because it was something I'd never even heard of. And it ended up being my favorite movie that I watched last month. It was really good. So for that one, I'm going to give that one, I gave that one 4 stars, and I'm definitely going to rewatch that one again. That's going to be in my collection. I might have to see if I can cop a DVD copy of that one because it's really good. I loved it. After that, I kind of randomly watched this movie because I had heard it was good. The Rental. Now, I think the concept was very good. They had a fire cast, and the cast knocked it out of the park. The acting was great. Tell me why the movie was just 95% arguing. Like, the actual horror part was like 5 minutes. The whole movie was just arguing. There was never a feel of like a presence throughout the house. Like, and again, and this is another one, if you haven't seen it, basically it's about two couples that go on vacation and they rent an Airbnb, and something's going on with the Airbnb. And I thought there was going to be more of something going on with the Airbnb, but instead it was the Dan Stevens and the other woman. I don't know what her name is, but she's not Allison Brie woman. I'll put her name on the screen too. It was just them having an affair. That was like the majority of the movie, was just them having an affair and then feeling guilty and frightened that their partners are going to find out. But it was directed by Dave Franco. And he's not a bad director. Like I said, the acting was good. The shots were good. Everything was good, but it just was boring. Like, I was expecting more of a presence from the killer, and instead it was like the killer literally came out of nowhere. Like, it was like all of a sudden, oh, there's a murderer here. There's a murderer. Like, we're arguing about the fact that our relationships are imploding, and now there's a murderer. And it just felt like it was like an afterthought, and that kind of like bored me. So I gave it 2.5 stars. All right. I need to take a sip of my soda before I talk about this next one. I'm going to try so hard not to crash out, but okay, let me take a sip of my soda. I'll be right back. Okay, you ready for this? Y'all are not ready for this. See, I thought my biggest crash out was going to be Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, because when I finished that movie, I was like, oh my god, that was the most boring experience I ever had in my entire life, for a Resident Evil movie. At least the original movie series was action-packed, so it wasn't boring. Then I decided to watch this next movie, despite the fact that everybody online, every single person said, do not watch this movie, it is absolute ass. I was like, you know what? I want to form my own opinion. I don't want to listen to other people. I want to form my own opinion. So I sat down and I watched this. And as somebody who is a massive Silent Hill fan, yeah, you probably figured out now where we're going. This movie pissed me off. Pissed me all the way off. Return to Silent Hill. That's what I watched on Hulu. This shouldn't even be on Tubi. This shouldn't exist. Like, let's just erase the whole film. And also, I don't ever want to hear y'all bitches complaining ever again about Silent Hill, the one from the 2000s with Sean Bean. I don't ever want to hear you complaining, because that movie is a masterpiece compared to this one. That movie is art compared to this one. Like, and I actually unironically really love that movie. I just thought it was well done. I thought it was creepy. It was eerie. And when I watched it, I was a teenager, and I thought that the sequences of gore and terror were handled really well. So I liked it. I understand why people don't like it, but I don't ever want to hear you complain about it again, because Return to Silent Hill exists. Return to Silent Hill exists. Now, this movie is supposed to be based off the second game, which is quite literally one of it's arguably one of the best horror games in all of history. It's one of the best survival horror games in all of history. And I would say it's in my top 3. It's probably number 2. My favorite is BioShock. And God forbid anybody touch that. I know they've talked about it. But God forbid anybody touch that movie or that game. Don't touch it. Don't touch it because you guys keep letting me down. Don't touch it. Um it is one of my favorite games, Return to Silent Hill. And I will say this. It was true to form in its scene sequences. It followed the game almost verbatim. But my first problem was they didn't make Mary James's wife. I don't even care about spoiling the movie for y'all because I don't even want you to watch this. They didn't make Mary James's wife. She was his girlfriend. And you know how important them being a married couple was. If you've played the game, you know how important them being a married couple was to the story. They made her his girlfriend. On top of that, we'll get to the semantics of the movie, like the stuff that actually was like going on in the movie. We'll get to it. But they literally took James Sunderland, the main character of the game, and nerfed him. They nerfed him. Because if you know anything about Silent Hill 2, you know that James Sunderland is not necessarily a good guy. I don't want to spoil it too much because I think you should play the game. But James Sunderland is not a good guy. He is a deeply troubled soul, and that is part of why this game is so fascinating. It is very psychological. It messes with your head. It makes you decide who are you going to root for. This movie was like, no, James Sunderland was the best boyfriend in the entire freaking world. He was so good to Mary. So good to her. The worst part was, this isn't a spoiler because it's like common knowledge, is easy to find. This isn't a spoiler, but the worst part was, in the games, Mary, who is his wife, she is sick, and that's kind of what spurs this whole trip to Silent Hill thing for him after her passing. He took care of her during that time. James took care of Mary while she was sick, up until her passing. In this movie, he left and came back right before she died. He left her. Silent Hill 2 is one, for me, was one of narratively the most like gut-wrenching games the first time I ever played it. It caught me off guard. It broke my heart a little bit. It was intense. And they just took this movie and they're like, what if James Sunderland was like the best guy in the world? What if he was so in love with his like his girlfriend that he never did anything bad ever? He never had any bad thoughts, bad feelings, none of that. Never, ever, 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 ever. Okay. All right. All right. I'll let you have this one. I'm trying, like I said, I'm holding back on how much I actually want to crash out because I don't want to be yelling and screaming right now. I really don't. And also, it would require me to talk more about the game, and I don't want to spoil it. I do think people should play it, or at least watch somebody play it on YouTube if you haven't before. It's a freaking amazing game. On top of that, though, even though it was pretty true to the game as far as a lot of the scene sequences go, the acting was horrendous. Oh my god. Listen. I always live by the guide that it's not the actor, it's the director. The director is the one that tells you how to act. That director, I forgot his name. Is it Christopher Gans or whatever? That Christoph Gans or whatever that wrote and directed this movie? Count your days. Count your days. Don't touch that franchise again. Don't touch it again. I don't know what he did, but he made James so freaking whiny and annoying. And I know James isn't a good guy, but like there was nothing likable about James. There was nothing that lulled you into a false sense of security. Yeah, there was nothing like that. Nothing like that. Um and his line delivery on a lot of the lines were incredibly corny. incredibly corny. Like, I was like, who first of all, who wrote this line, and second of all, who told you to deliver it like that? I need to have a talk with them. I don't blame the guy that played him. I don't blame the guy that played him. He did the best with what was handed to him, but my god, did they hand him a pile of donkey doo-doo. Like, they really did. They handed him the biggest pile of shit that they possibly could find in the wilderness. He should sue. He should sue. I really hate this movie. I hate this movie. I think it's really close to how much I hated I Know What You Did Last Summer. It's really close. It's like this close to taking over that the more I think about the movie, the more hatred I feel for it, because they just took a movie. Again, franchises like Silent Hill and Resident Evil are basically movies in and of themselves. I mean, I literally watch, like, Resident Evil 2, the remake. I watch the movie because they'll just take all the gameplay scenes out and just put the cutscenes in, and it's a movie. It's a movie. It's an hour and change, or 2 hours. I was watching Resident Evil Requiem as though it was a movie. As though it was a movie. You know, they are movies already. They do not need you to veer off super far away from the plot. There was no reason for them to write James Sunderland as a loving boyfriend. There was no reason for them to change Mary into his girlfriend and not his wife. There was no reason for him to leave her behind before she got sick. There was no reason for any of it. It was just like, what if we did this? What if we took one of the greatest horror games of all time and just ran it through a meat grinder? That's what they did. That's what they did with Silent Hill 2. We're not returning to Silent Hill. As much as I wanted to be excited of the return of Silent Hill, because Silent Hill is one of my favorite horror game franchises. It was my favorite. But I'm starting to like Resident Evil a little bit more now. But that's just because they're making games and Silent Hill really isn't, except for Silent Hill Forte, which I would love to play, but I heard bad things about it. And it's still like $70 on PlayStation Store, so I'm not spending that much if the game sucks. I'm not doing it. But yeah, I will take the Silent Hill movie from like 2006, I think it was, the Silent Hill movie from 2006 starring Sean Bean. I will take that movie every single day over this movie. And I don't want to hear no one complain. I don't even want to hear one person complain about that movie, the 2006 Silent Hill. I don't want to hear one person, well, they said they were going to make it out of the original one, and then they changed it. They changed this and they changed that. All of the changes that they made were at least entertaining. They were at least cool to watch. I don't care that Pyramid Head is James's monster. You know what they did with Pyramid Head in this movie? Nothing. Nothing. He's James's monster, but he does nothing. He's not even an imposing force. Like, he was more imposing in Silent Hill 2006. But he's James's monster, so he shouldn't have been in Silent Hill 2006, right? He shouldn't have been. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. He was great. He ripped off a woman's skin and threw it at Laurie Holden. Okay? So I would rather that Pyramid Head than the Pyramid Head in this movie, because oh my god, he did nothing. He did nothing. Absolutely nothing. He wasn't even imposing. He wasn't even scary. And not because I like Pyramid Head or I think Pyramid Head is hot or whatever, because he was like barely in it. And the one time they tried to make him really scary, it was like, okay. Like, it just wasn't convincing. It wasn't as great as his entrance in the 2006 movie. I'm sorry. It was, like the 2006 movie, when he entered in, that terror was palpable for me. And again, I mean, I've seen the movie since then. I've watched the movie a lot of times, but I was a teenager the first time I saw it, and I wasn't as big into horror as I am now. But still, it was good. This movie, no. I don't even think as a teenager I would have liked this movie. It's bad. It's bad. It's stinky. It sucks. Don't waste your time. 1 star. 1 star. James Sunderland sucks. Okay, anyways. All right, and then to fizzle out the ending of the oh, I forgot that I have a cut on my face here. Yeah, I have a cut on my face. Hmm. Hmm. I don't know. I got random cuts on my face. I think somebody's like slicing me in my sleep. Maybe it's Freddy Krueger getting to me in my sleep. I do look like I haven't slept in days. The dark circles are coming back, baby. All right, so to end the month with a little fizzle out, this was the one I cheated with because I did watch this one in 2020 or 2021, and I did make a video about it for my old YouTube channel. Um, but I saw it was on Peacock, and I wanted to watch it again because I remembered nothing about it other than the fact that the monster's name was Larry. Yeah, the monster's name was Larry. It's Come Play. Come Play. Um, it is a really boring movie. It is a really, and I remember I didn't like it the first time I watched it. I remember I didn't like it. I kind of do want to do that too. At least once a month, watch a movie that maybe I didn't really have a great time with, and see if I like it better now. Um, I might do that. I might do that, like one movie a month, and see if I like it better. Oi, all I can say was this movie was boring as hell. All I can say was I took a nap during this movie, and all I can say is who names their monster Larry? That is the least imposing name that you could possibly pick for your monster. This movie was boring. If you don't know what it's about, because it is kind of obscure, I think I only heard about it because it popped up on like Hulu or something back in the day. So it was on one of those streaming services. I don't remember which one, but it's on Peacock now in case you want to watch it. But it's about a young boy who is autistic. He is nonverbal. He's nonverbal autistic, so he doesn't talk. He uses like one of those little speaking boards. And I'm not saying that like to be mean. It's actually like that's like the whole plot of the movie is that he's autistic. Um, a book shows up on his tablet, and the book is called like Misunderstood Monsters or whatever. And the book is all about this monster named Larry that just wants a friend. And the whole thing is if once you finish the book, Larry is able to cross over into our world and pull you back with him. And of course, he has a father who works all the time and a mother who is barely holding it together. There's, of course, the scene like towards the end while he's trying to regulate when Larry is coming and he's like, spinning and like kind of like he does this thing where he like rubs his hands together, like it's like kind of like this. He does that and he's like groaning. And of course, they have the scene where she's like, "Could you just be normal for once?" And I think they were trying to get a Babadook moment. I think they were trying to get a Babadook moment, but it just it fell flat on its face. I was like, "Damn, can you just be normal for a moment?" Okay, all right. Well, mom, I don't think realize that this is not a normal situation. There is a monster coming out of the television. I don't think we're here for normalcy right now. Like, I get it. She was probably overstimulated herself or just, scared. She's probably scared. But, girl, can you just be normal for once? How about you tell Larry to get the heck out of my TV? How about you tell Larry to go back to whatever dimension he's in? I just I couldn't. It was so silly to me. It's a silly movie. There's nothing really scary about it. And the monster's name is Larry. I just can't. I'm never going to get over the fact that the monster's name is Larry. Because why would you name your monster Larry? That's so comical. That's so unserious. Like, I'm supposed to take that seriously. I'm supposed to take Larry seriously. I don't take Larry seriously. He's hilarious to me. The Thunder was a paid actor, if you heard it. All right, so that was the last movie I watched. I rated it a star and a half. Just because honestly, the fact that the monster's name is Larry does kind of amuse me a bit. It makes me giggle. So I'll give it a half an extra star to round out that. All right, and that is all I watched in June of 2026. Not a lot, I know, and not a lot of bangers, a lot of like duds. But hopefully this month will be better. Like I said, I'm starting with Hellraiser. And then Evil Dead Burns comes out this week. I'm so excited, and I'm also so nervous. I just keep thinking about that damn scene where the girl drinks the candle wax, and I'm not sure I'm ready for that. But Evil Dead Burns comes out, and I love Evil Dead. So we about to pop off with that. Updates. I was gonna give updates. Okay, so I have like I have two, I don't want to call them major updates, but I do have two updates. The first update is that the Resident Evil video is still happening. I think I mentioned it in another video, but I got a capture card. I got a capture card. So I decided I was going to um play the game, play Requiem, record it, put it on my gaming channel, and also use the footage for my big video. I just finished it last week. Um, just finished the whole game for the third time last week. So I will be editing all of that footage and putting it out. Hopefully, it'll get out this week. Hopefully, you guys will see that after this. And then I'll have the Requiem video out. It's just gonna take time. That was my bad because I just got excited once I got a capture card. I was like, oh my god, I can play games now from my PlayStation. It's awesome. I love it. And I have some more games in mind that I'm gonna play. Like I said, I'm gonna play the other Resident Evil games. I'll probably do that like as well, recorded. But yeah, so that's the one thing. So the Resident Evil video is still coming, still working on it. It's just taking its time. The second thing is that I realized that something that I want to do in the future is have like off the cuff yap session, um like videos about horror, like where it's like multiple different subjects, not just one subject, not just like, okay, we're going to talk about this movie and rate this movie, but talk about horror drama, talk about like craziness that's going on. So I hate to say I'm starting a podcast, but I'm basically starting like a side series. It's going to be on um, podcast platforms as well as YouTube. And it's going to be kind of like this where I'm not wearing makeup, my hair's not done, and I'm chilling. The only reason I didn't do all of that tonight is because I don't feel good. Not that I owe an explanation, but I'm just like I don't feel good. So I was like I'm just gonna record this video because um, I've been meaning to do this for a while, but it was a holiday weekend. So um, yeah, so I'm gonna be doing that. It's gonna be mini sessions. Um, it might they're not going to be super long episodes. I'm going to keep them fairly short. And maybe I'll get some other people who like come and talk too. I have some friends that might want to come and talk. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm not gonna push anything right now, but yeah, they're gonna just basically be like smaller things that I can put up on the channel while I'm editing these bigger videos, these scripted longer videos, because I gotta have something now. I gotta I really do. I want to keep the momentum going. When I get good momentum, and then I'm like, oh, my next video is gonna take me like a month to edit because I'm doing all of it by myself, baby. It's fun, but it's a lot of work. So yeah, I am gonna be doing that little mini yap sessions, kind of similar to this, completely off the cuff, completely unfiltered. And yeah, I'm really really excited to do that. So that is pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please let me know by clicking that like button, that thumbs up down there. If you want to see more of my uh, random thoughts, or my, well, I guess they're still random thoughts, I just write them down, scripted videos or anything like that, feel free to subscribe. I got so much stuff that I'm working on. Um, I'm going to be working on once this Resident Evil video is done. Um, I also have a gaming channel. That's where the full Resident Evil gaming video is going to be. It's going to be on that channel. You can go look at that. Um, yeah, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought of any of these movies. If you've seen any of these movies, if you hate Return to Silent Hill as much as I do, please tell me you do. Please don't let me believe that there's people out there that love this movie. I'm sure there are, but please don't let me believe that. I want to erase my brain. Um yeah, and I will see you guys very, very soon in my next video.